Yo, GamerNemy here, welcome to my Yoshimitsu punishment guide where I show you guys everything you need to know about how to punish with Yoshimitsu in Tekken 8. Not just that, I'll give you guys some good flowcharts and frame traps as well for after you've landed said punishment on this character. So as usual, I'll try my best to avoid the use of frame data so as to not chase the beginners away. But like it's Tekken, eventually you have to learn about frame data. So I'll try to have an in-between where I talk about frame data and just try to avoid it as a whole. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Okay, so first let's start with his 1-1, which is his fastest punish. At high level would be his 10 frame punish. Now his 1-1 is pretty freaking good. Firstly, it's safe, right? As you can see, it's only -9, right? So pretty good just to throw out as well. So it does 26 damage, I believe, leaves you at +4, which is a decent advantage, honestly. And in no sword stance, you get a knockdown from this, right? Get some life back and does 3 more points of damage. It's pretty good. And the best thing about it is the fact that when you have no sword, then on counter hit, right? The second hit becomes a counter hit launcher, as you can see. So it's a really good punish to just throw out as well, right? Being safe, right? No sword stance, boom, just throw it out as well. It's pretty good. So like nothing really special about it, right? 26 damage. Leaves you at +4. So you can do some stuff like 1-1, right? Into down forward 1, for example, a good frame trap. Down forward 2, sorry. So as you can see, you trade it all standing 4, but you can still get a combo afterwards in your favor. This will lose to like down jab though, right? Because down jab is 10 frames, right? So to prevent that, you can do stuff like 1-1 into down forward 1, for example. You know, basic stuff, boom. Check them if they're pressing buttons, right? If they're pressing any buttons, go for down forward 2, right? And in situations where they're not respecting you, you go for like 1-1 into stab even, right? So how do you do his stab again in this game? Yeah, up back 1+3, right? You can also bait them, right? You can go the stab into knockback, right? Stuff like this. Being a Yoshimitsu, you guys, I'm sure you know how I'm usually using his unblockables, right? So that's the idea behind his 1-1. Okay, so now let's take a look at his 11 frame punisher, which is his 2-2 and his 2-1 when you're in no sword stance. Now Yoshi goes from a 10 frame punisher to an 11 frame punisher, which is very unique to him. Most of the characters go from 10 to 12 in this game. So for beginners, 1-1 is his fastest punisher, like I said, and his 2-1 is 1 frame slower. So just slightly slower, right? 10 frame punisher, you only get this, right? But if something is 11 frames and below, you can get this and this as well. That's how it works. That's the brief summary. Now, his total punisher is one of the best punishers in the game. Like honestly, it's insane. It leaves you at +15, right? Which is ridiculous. You are not allowed to press buttons when you get hit by this. You're just not allowed, right? It's 2 frames less plus than a hit engager, right? Hit engagers are +17. So this is +15. As you can see, it's ridiculously plus. It's insane, right? So you can also go into Kincho by pressing 1+2, right? So you can go 2-2 into 1+2, right? But when you do this, you don't put your sword away. If you do 2-2 on its own, you put your sword away. So it's up to you to decide. So he has some pretty ridiculous frame traps from this, right? It's insane. So for example, up back 1+2 is a frame trap, right? 2-2 into up back 1+2 is a frame trap. They press any buttons, they get hit by this, and this does a ton of damage, like 40 damage, right? 2-2 into down 1 as well is a frame trap, and down 1 from no sword stance is a counter hit launcher, as you can see. So I've recorded the CPU to do those particular flowcharts. As you can see, he does this into down 1. I think he also does into up forward 1+2, up back 1+2. So I'll try to jab afterwards. As you can see, I get hit, I jab afterwards, I get hit, right? So it's pretty strong. It's pretty freaking strong, right? So yeah, those are some of the basic 1-on-1 frame traps that you should be using after 2-2. Now, if you decide to go into Kincho, it's a good idea to go for the low because, of course, you do want some low mix-ups, right? So if you want, you can do a 2-2 into down back 4, right? But down back 4 is just a mid poke, 14 damage, and nothing too big, right? So you can do stuff like 2-2, down back, what's his low again? Is it down back 2, down back 1? Yeah, down back 1, right? So 2-2, down back 1. Oh, you don't do this, you can't do it in no hold stance? Oh, I didn't know about that. Oh, rip. Okay, so anyway, you can go 2-2, Kincho, down 1, but if you want to implement your law, right, so this is pretty strong. Boom, boom, into the low, right, a duck, you can go for like 1 if you want, pretty good as well, right, mix them up, stuff like this, right, 1+2 is a duck, so yeah, 2-2 is insanely strong, one of the best 11 frame punishers in the game, for sure. So in no sword stance, you have 2-1, right, so now it's up to you. You can still do 2-2 if you do no sword stance, right? So it's up to you if you want to go for the damage, right? Damage and knockdown, right? It's up to you, or for frame data, right? For 2-2. So that's basically Yoshi's 11 frame punishment game. It's either you choose to go for 2-2 for frame data or 2-1. No sword stance 2-1 for the damage. So yeah, his 11 frame punishment game is pretty ridiculous. Okay, so for 11 frames, we go to, from 11 frames, we go to his 13 frame Punisher, which is down forward 1-2. So down forward 1-4, sorry. So this is just a very basic punish, right? 31 damage is pretty good, but it does a lot of pushback. So you won't really be using your frame advantage like that, right? You can't throw out stuff afterwards because it does a lot of pushback. Your opponent can just backdash out of range for like most of your follow-ups. So you can't really use your plus frames after this, which is pretty sad. But overall, it's still a decent punish at 31 damage, right? So stuff like Brian down forward 2-3, this is going to be your ideal punisher for that. Jack down forward 2 as well. Sometimes it's a very good punisher for that. So stuff like that. So nothing too special about it. Very basic punisher overall. Then for at 14 frames, you also have something pretty direct. You have back to 2, which is a very strong punisher. 33 damage, pretty good. But it's a hit engager, right? So you don't really have anything after this. It just basically takes you into hit. So it's kind of a weird situation with Yoshi because most characters have like 2 different 14 frame punishers. Like Leroy, for example, has 1+2, 1+2, which takes him into hit. And he also has upward 3+4, 1+2, which does not take him into hit. But with Yoshi, you are locked to back 2-2 for 14 frames, so you have to go into hit no matter what. So if you choose not to go into hit, you can always use down back 3-4. Sorry, down forward 1-4. As you can see, it's a better option than back 2-2 if you don't want to go into hit. It only does 2 points less damage, right? So not that deep in terms of like the difference in damage. So you don't really, you can get away with using down forward 1-4. If you don't want to go into hit. Overall, if you want optimization and you want to go into hit and back to 2, is the ideal 14 frame punisher to be using as Yoshimitsu. Alright, for his 15 frames, he has a down forward 2 and a hop kick as well, upward 3. So I have the luxury of having 2 different 15 frame launchers for Yoshi. Now, of course, upward 3 does 2 more points of damage than down forward 2. Right, so ideally you'll be using upward 3 if you want to like launch someone. So again, just a 15 frame launcher, nothing too special. If something is considered as launch punishable, for Yoshi, these are the 2 options that you should be using. Now down forward 2, unlike upward 3, of course, is safe on block. So like down forward 2 is something you can get away with by just spamming it, right? It's a pretty good move as it is, right? Only -17. -7, sorry, not -17. Upward 3 is only -13. But it's punishable, so yeah, you're better off using down forward 2 as a kind of like a neutral poke, which is pretty good. We spoke about how down forward 2 is good after like 1-1, right? So yeah, that's what differentiates down forward 2 from upward 3. Okay, so now let's take a look at Yoshi's while standing punishment, which I would rate as a B maybe, or C. It's pretty average, nothing too big, nothing too special about it. So firstly, for his fastest frame or his fastest punisher from while standing is his while standing 4. Pretty generic, right? Like every other character or like most of the characters in the game, nothing too special about it. Only +5, so you can do stuff like while standing 4 into down forward 2, right? While standing 4 into back 2, you know, down forward 1, stuff like that. So just a generic while standing 4 punish, nothing too special. You can go into Kincho after this by holding 1+2 after while standing 4, so that's pretty good. So stuff like while standing 4 into Kincho forward 2 is a frame trap, right? 1+2 as well, good frame trap, back 2, frame trap as well, right? So pretty decent. You can also put your sword away after outstanding 4, which is pretty handy, right? Still safe as well. So yeah, pretty good outstanding punish, not really too crazy. Like I said, nothing special about it. So from 11 frames, we'll go to 14 frames. So 14 frames, he has outstanding 1, 2. Decent, again, 30 damage is pretty good. Having a 14 frame outstanding punisher is always nice. Although it's better to have a 13 frame rather than a 14 frame punish. So having a 14 frame is good, but not great. You want oh my god, Alzheimer's. You want a 13 frame punisher over a 14 frame punisher outstanding any day, right? Especially if it doesn't launch, right? So yeah, 30 damage. The frame data is however amazing at 40 plus 14 is pretty good. So you can do stuff like down forward 2 afterwards, you know, the basic stuff like I showed you guys earlier. You know, back 2 as well is pretty good. You can go low. Yeah, nothing too special, right? Then for 15 frames, of course, that's where he gets his launcher as well. So pretty basic, nothing too crazy, nothing too special about. So like I said, his outstanding punishment is not that great, right? Compared to other characters in the game like Kazuya, you know, it's nothing to gawk about. But it's enough, and it gets the job done. Yoshi is a mix-up heavy character, so having strong punishment as well wouldn't really fit his archetype in a sense, so it explains why his outstanding punishment is pretty average at best. Okay, so finally let's talk about Yoshimitsu's best whiff punishment option. So as a beginner, if you don't know what whiff punishment is, it basically means punishing your opponent for throwing out something in the open. So let's say our CPU Yoshi here does a random hop kick, right? So let's say he does that, right? So if I do anything to hit him after that, right, that's considered as a whiff punisher, right? As you can see, the bottom even says punish, right? It says punish, so that's basically a whiff punisher. Anything they throw out in the open, if they miss you or they don't hit you and you hit them for that, that's considered as a whiff punisher. So a whiff punisher can be any tool, right? It can be even a jab, it can be a whiff punisher, but of course, as everything in Tekken, you must optimize. So at long range, Yoshi's best whiff punisher is either forward 4, right? This is very good, especially like for get up kicks from the ground, right? Very good whiff punisher, as of course it launches, right? You all know this. And quarter circle forward 1, right? Or now which is down forward 1 plus 4. It's also a very good whiff punisher for long range, and back 4, back 2 for like mid range is a very good whiff punisher as well. Of course, down forward 2 is good for like close range. 1 if you're not sure, because 1 is safe, remember? So just throwing it out, there's no much risk to it, so it's pretty good for close range as well. 3 slide 4 is another good whiff punisher, but why use this when you can use forward 4 for optimal version, of course, right? But like I said, overall guys, forward 4 and quarter circle forward 1 are the optimal versions of this whiff punishment. Sorry, forward neutral, quarter circle forward 1 is basically the input for this, right? So your long range whiff punishers, these are your best options for sure. Mid range back to 2, free, best, almost one of the strongest whiff punishers in the game. This range is pretty ridiculous, right? Close range, like I said, down forward 2 and 1. So there you have it guys, everything you need to know about how to punish with Yoshimitsu in Tekken 8. Did you enjoy the video? Please let me know in the comment section. Let me know what I can do better. Of course, these guides are for you, so all the feedback necessary will be appreciated. So thank you so much guys. If you enjoyed the video, why not check out this Yoshi introduction guide to help you get into the character. And GG.